Very good morning, everyone. Yeah, on behalf of Matrushri Engineering College, sponsored by Matrushri Education Society, we welcome you all to this induction program. This induction program is actually to make you familiar with before we start with the regular sessions. So it's something like socializing with your other students, our campus staff and other non-teaching staff, and then associating with your like we have some clubs. We have photography club, we have orators club, we have music club, dance club. So that's associating with all these. And then we have governing rules. It's something like iterating. So reiterating, yesterday you had some talks by our some of our senior HODs, like what are the policies, rules, regulations, and syllabus and all. So it's something like making you familiar with our college environment. And as a part of AACT, we are following this induction program, and you will be given the attendance too. Then we have the last experience. So what is experience you carry home? Because most of them have left your homes. I think few of them, you've joined some hostels and you have to make yourself familiar. You wanted to do something. So that's all experience what you carry out. So we are planning for some programs like innovation skills, traffic awareness program, and SHE team, drug abuse, mind power and management. So these are some talks which you'll be listening to in the next few days. Right. And I just wanted to wind up my talk with a famous quote by Swami Vivekananda. What he says, I want that education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, intellect is expanded, and one can stand on one's own feet. So that is the purpose of education. When you step into an education institute, how you transform yourself, a good character, intellectual expansion, and your job, of course, when you go out of this college campus. So let us have a happy and warmth environment here. Another few sessions you will have that experience. So with this, I'll just close my introduction talk. Now I invite my colleague, Dr. M. Chandrasekhar, to carry on with the session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all of you. Respected today's speaker, esteemed faculty members, and my dear students. It is my pleasure to welcome all the freshers to the induction program. The induction program will help you understand not just the academic rigors of engineering, but also the importance of ethical values, teamwork, and holistic development. Dear students, today we have with us an eminent speaker who has been a guiding light in the field of information technology and innovation. It is my pleasure to invite today's speaker, Suraj V. Mayor, onto the stage. Yes. Thank you, sir. Suraj V. Mayor is a founder CEO of Next Skills 360 EdTech Private Limited and Massachusetts Solve Fellow. Suraj V. Mayor has over 2 decades of experience in IT and K-12 education. While working with IT corporates like Infosys, Wipro, Satyam, and Pitney Bowes, Suraj manages diverse and critical multi-million-dollar IT deliver portfolios for customers like GlaxoSmithKline, Coca-Cola, Novartis, and other Fortune 500 companies. Recently, he was awarded the IT Professional of the Year by Hyderabad Management Association. As a social entrepreneur, he co-authored 17 life skills books for K-12 students and has invited Pro Game, a cardboard-based tool, teach coding to unprivileged students without computers, a patent for which has been granted for in India. Over 240,000 students and 10,000 teachers have used these products across India. His startup has won several international and national awards, including prestigious ones from Massachusetts Institute of Technology's SOLVE program, Dell India, Google India, amongst various others. He is currently working on creating a product to teach coding skills to visually impaired persons with 2 more patents underway. Suraj is an avid technology enthusiast, a social entrepreneur, and an educationalist. He strongly believes in equitable classrooms. With this brief introduction, I request Suraj V. Mayor sir to start the session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. All right. The connect between you and me is that I am an alumni of this college. The truth needs to be told. So before most of you were born, I graduated from this place. So there is a connect. So what I request, what I want you to do is treat me as one of your own and ask questions, right? You will have a lot of questions. This is not going to be a Gyan session or something. This is like a story of what I have gone through. If you have anything in your mind, just feel free. Is that a deal? Yes? All right, let's go. So, one sec. So what you see in this picture is of a girl in a very remote school in Telangana. What she is trying to do here is trying to learn coding. You don't see computers, you don't see any internet electricity sockets anywhere. But just with this coding kit that we developed, she is trying to learn coding skills. Now, how she does that, how a lot of other students like her do it, I'll tell you the story. I'm Suraj Mayur. I graduated, as I said, from MVSR Engineering College as an MCA grad in 1999. Most recently, I am a SOLVE Fellow from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. With that, a short introduction. Let me get going. 2 parts to my story. One, the first 14 years, I got a campus placement from here, like most of you would be aspiring to. I got a campus placement, got placed in Satyam. Spent about 14 years working for Infosys, Satyam, Wipro, kind of companies, and then started my own startups. So Infosys, Pitney Bowes, Wipro, Satyam, 14 long years, and that's when I said, what more can I do for myself and for the society? Next slide. At that time, somebody introduced me to this book. This book, okay, before I get into this book, how many of you have used Ola, a Uber, a Swiggy, an Amazon kind of an app? Raise of hands. So a lot of us, right? Most of us keep using. Did any of you think of any feature that is not there in these apps? Anybody? I mean, not a great feature, not a small feature, big feature, doesn't matter. But did you think, hey, Zomato is delivering this way or taking orders this way? Had it been some other way, it would have been nice. Did anybody think of it? I mean, we often, good, raise your hands. I mean, there is no need to feel shy, right? I mean, those are good things. So what I'm trying to say is, that is where a journey of an entrepreneur starts. You see something and then think, hey, this can be better. Maybe I can build it on my own. And that's how you start building an app, a solution, or whatever, and you become an entrepreneur. Similarly, 10 times more tougher is something called social entrepreneurship. Meaning, if you see somebody on the streets who is begging, who doesn't have clothes, who doesn't get a chance to attend good schools like you think of that problem and say, hey, how can I solve it? And that's when, when you start helping those people, that's when you become a social entrepreneur. So somebody gave me this book. This book has good stories about social entrepreneurs, meaning people who took social problems and tried solving it. One that really impressed me, although we don't want to talk too much about it, is a story of Sulabh Complex. Has anybody seen Sulabh Complex by the streets when we walk or on the roads? We do, right? Good. So imagine somebody looking at a problem within their family, saying women can't go during the day, and they have to be either before it is dawn or after it is sunset. And he built an entire business model around solving that problem. So he's a social entrepreneur. So that kind of a story really impressed me, and I said, why can't I do? There are so many social problems around us. So why can't we solve a social problem ourselves? Next. So this is my 11th year since the time I read that book, 14 years earlier with IT companies, 11 years trying to solve these problems. So the problem that we chose was education. I mean, it is a very long-term thing, meaning if you have a food packet in your hand and you see somebody hungry on the streets, you can go give it to them, problem solved. But if it is education, you have to invest a lot of time, money, effort, trying to teach these students who otherwise don't have access. Like that, about 170 million students go to government schools in India. It's not one, it's not two, it's 170 million. People, again, rich kids or students who go to private schools, they have good access to good teachers, good books, everything. But 170 million, they don't have access to typical things that you take for granted. A good textbook, you think, I can just go to Koti or somewhere, or Amazon, just buy a book. But no, they can't access those. So we said, how can we help these students? Yeah, so first we said, how do we create good quality books around life skills? Meaning, if a child is being bullied, do you understand bullying? Good. So if a child is getting bullied in school, he or she doesn't know where to go to, right? If a child is getting abused, he or she doesn't know where to go to. So we said, similar to how Chota Bheem is, right? If you can write stories and then print them in books and give it to school students, they can look at those stories, read those stories, do some activities. That way we thought we will create awareness. So remember this product. I will talk about this a little later too. Next slide, please. So while teaching those life skills in a lot of government schools, I mean, we went to schools that were bordering tiger reserves. We went to schools where there's no road transport. Our teachers used to hitchhike on tractors, on bullock carts, reach those schools and teach them. So at that time, we realized a lot of these schools did not have electricity. And to top it, though, I mean, computers, though, they did not even see it. So we said, how can we teach these students coding skills without any of this infrastructure? Because anybody here gone to, okay, let me introduce that. I went to a very low-end private school. I mean, it was bordering a government school and a private school. It was not a high-end school. It's called an affordable private school. So anybody here gone to government schools? Good. So you understand how in remote areas, these schools, they don't have access to a lot of things, right? Teachers, books, and computers, etc. So we said, if these students are let like that, I mean, if they continue to be like that, private schools going students will get good education. The balance is always going to be against the government school students. And how many did we say are going to government school students? Schools? Exactly. So it's a huge, huge problem across the world, and more so in India. So we said, can we do something very simple like a cardboard-based coding kit? I mean, this kit is completely made of cardboard. We developed a mobile app. It's AI-based. And then imagine a classroom. Now, if there are about 40 students in a school that is bordering a tiger reserve, there is no internet there, no electricity. Sometimes electricity comes and goes. Those 40 students in a very dark environment use our kits. The teacher uses an Android phone and our app. And with that, they are learning coding skills. I mean, away from internet, away from the rest of the world, we are trying to make them come on par with the private school goings who are studying in a Banjara Hills or a Jubilee Hills or anywhere in Hyderabad. We're trying to bring them on par. Why? Again, to make those classes in private schools and public schools equitable. Next slide, please. So, if you look at this, I mean, this is a typical place, how they do. I mean, they sit around, use our kits. There is one phone somewhere here. And then with that, they're able to learn a lot of coding. Now, if you just look at this is how a typical cardboard kit is. They place these blocks. These are blocks of instruction. If somebody knows about Scratch, they will be able to relate to it. So if you read the English meaning of it, there is this cat placed here. If you see this, there is, when you click a button, you repeat 4 times. Whatever is between these repeat and end repeat. Meaning you have to move 100 steps, you have to left turn 90 degrees. Meaning when you run this code, if the cat starts from here, it goes like this, 100 steps, it turns left 100 steps, it goes like this, turns again, 100, 100. All that the child actually sees on the mobile phone. I mean, whatever is being done on cardboard, the child actually gets to see on the mobile phone. So with that, we have broken that barrier of how a child sitting or studying somewhere very remote is able to learn coding. Right? So these are our coding labs. I mean, if people are studying in residential schools, government schools, they will realize this is a typical dining area. If you see a grinder there, what they are doing is they are trying to rehearse for the next day what they are going to teach in the classrooms. These are students, teachers. So again, these are also coding labs. If you see, they are not, no computers again, they are studying under trees, wherever they find an opportunity to learn. Yeah. The good thing is they can take the kit home, and if the parent has a mobile phone, they can continue the education at home as well. So far, with the life skills product, the books that I mentioned, and this coding kit, we have taught about 240,000 students and 10,000 trainers in India. So that's the scale that we have reached so far. We still have a long way to go. Imagine 170 million students. We are just 240,000. But the journey has been anything, so far so good? I mean, am I making sense? Any questions? I mean, any random questions is also fine. Anything? No, feel free to interrupt me also. So, as a social entrepreneur, I mean, coming from first a student, then going to corporate, working for big companies, then starting something on my own, I thought I had created something very good. That's with everybody. If we do something, we think we are proud of it. But the first competition, competition that we went to, somebody gave us 19 out of 50. Imagine that's a bare passing mark kind of a thing, right? I mean, we went and showed them our kit. We went them and showed our mobile app. They said it is pretty useless. The max that they could give was 19. Had we said to ourselves that maybe what we are doing is not correct, wrong, maybe it is wrong, and we had stopped, we probably wouldn't have impacted or made these students learn about these coding skills. So we kept going. Again, pro game, I don't know how many people are convinced that coding can be taught using this kit or not, but believe me, you're not alone. Every customer that we go to and say, hey, we can teach coding with this kit, they will say, possible, not possible, I don't know. So that was like a chicken and egg problem. They don't know how it works, and that's why they are not able to buy it for their students. So it took us a lot of energy to kind of say, okay, take free kits, take them, use it in your schools, and then only if you like it, come and pay. So that was another big struggle. And then this is the mother of all struggles. When Corona hit, it hit us really, really bad. You would have remembered during those times, we were very afraid of touching any surfaces, right? If we had touched any surface, we would again use hand sanitizer and all that. So at that point in time, nobody was ready to touch our kits. For 18 months, we were in cold storage. I mean, we just did not know how we can help others and how we can help ourselves. I mean, that was our biggest hurdle. And then to say that we are going to help people will not pay salaries to our employees, right? We have to earn money. We have to be profitable. So how do you also make profit in doing all this social kind of a business? So that is another important lesson we learned. You have to be profitable to be sustainable. So after going through all those hurdles, finally MIT recognized us as a solver team. Then came Google, then came Dell, a lot of other awards that we won. We won a lot of grants too. I mean, there are good philanthropic grants that kind of provide us with an initial amount and say, hey, go teach in certain number of schools. So that really helped us. This is, how many of you know CTS here, Cognizant Technologies? Have you heard of that name? Good. So he's the CEO of Cognizant Technologies. He is presenting our kit. If you see there, that's our kit. He's presenting our kit to his board members who came visiting to India. So he gave a remark saying he's pleasantly surprised that this is a made in India product. So that was like a very good motivation for us. In all this, while we were teaching so many students, very remote areas, we were always thinking, are we really inclusive? Inclusive meaning, if we design these steps here, there are 3 steps here for those who can't see. If we had built 3 more steps there, what would have happened? Why is there a slope, an inclined plane there and 3 steps here? Anybody? Wheelchairs, correct? So accessibility, meaning how do you make things, physical things or products accessible to everybody? Do you have that in your mind that if you are designing a product, it should be used by anybody and everybody, right? We were not thinking that way. We were saying, okay, a vast majority of students can see, vast majority of students can know how to use a tab or an app, so we will design in a certain way. Once we were in teaching in a school in Indore. That school had both vision, students with vision and students without vision. So we were teaching to students with vision. People were learning, they were enjoying. And then after they put those kits in the lab where they were using it, they left. And students who were visually impaired, they walked in. And they felt these kits. And then they went to their in-charges and asked, when can we learn coding? I mean, to kind of think about it, we always have that constraint. The first thing that to somebody, it might come to their minds that, why should they learn coding at all? What is the use, kind of a thing. I mean, so we have to overcome those kind of thoughts and kind of say, everybody should be given a chance. Everybody, period. Everybody means everybody. So we said, okay, let's start doing something for the visually challenged as well. We started off doing a very similar kit like we already have. We started putting braille on it and then embossing on it so that they could feel it and things like that, but that did not work out. So finally, we have come up with a completely digital app. It coincidentally, we submitted it on Ganesh Chaturthi to Google Play Store. It got approved today. So that particular tool, it is not fully ready. That particular tool is now going to teach audio programming, meaning they can hear while they can't see. Everything is audio. The way they use the app is also very, very, very easy in the sense that they don't have to deal with a lot of UI elements. So this is what we are saying can make it inclusive learning for the visually challenged as well. This is our product number 3. So finally, I mean, I have not too many things to share here. What we also, my dream is to see if we can achieve these equitable classrooms where everybody can learn. I mean, in few years from now, I want to see government school students, equal number of government school students competing with private school students, right? They can't be, hey, coming from a government school, they don't have a chance. Now, despite all that effort, a few of them are able to make it, but there is a lot more students who are not able to make it. So that's what I think should be the goal. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you from here also will be a part of it. Our goal, so far we have taught about 240,000 students. Our goal by 2026 is to teach 1 million students and about 50,000 visually challenged students in coding skills. So that's all I had for today. I will not bore you anymore. We will stay in touch, but I'm open for any kind of questions that you have. Anything. I mean, if you want to become an entrepreneur, if you want to become an employee, if you want to become a social entrepreneur, just go for it. We can also be connected on LinkedIn, and then I can answer your questions there also. But if you have any questions now, anything at all, there is nothing like a good question, wrong, bad question, silly question, nothing. Go for it. Anything. Yeah.
How did you raise the funding?
Kunal.
So my question is, how do you raise the funding?
Your name?
Kunal.
Kunal. Great question, Kunal. So for an entrepreneur, a regular entrepreneur, like if you are, say, trying to build a Ola kind of an app or an Uber kind of an app, you can show that you have developed an app, 100 users are using, 1,000 users are using, and you are able to get some, say 10 lakh rupees as revenues today. You go to an investor and say, hey, with about 1,000 users, I am able to earn 1 lakh rupees. If you give me so and so money, investment, if you go and give me some, say 1 crore, I will use it for marketing, I'll use it for further development, I'll use it for something else. I will be able to get 1 lakh customers on my platform, and I will be able to, say, generate 10 crores of revenue. That's an easy story to sell. I mean, easy in the sense, easier than us, social entrepreneurs. Here, when we go to an investor and say, this is our product, there are no, the guy who is actually using it, I mean, the student you saw, right, using our kits, if you tell them that they will not buy it, somebody else has to buy it on their behalf and give it. And then that buyer also, we have to tell them, convince them a lot. It's not a great story for an investor. So social entrepreneurship, the problem is all around investments. How do you raise investments? There are some very good companies, very good investment firms who invest in social enterprises, but they will also need money back. They will also need profit. So far, we have not been able to raise investments, but to the tune of about 2 crore rupees, we were able to raise as grants from MIT, from different other foundations. There is one grant that is running right now where GSR Foundation, it's a foundation in Europe, it's a very credible, excellent foundation. They are giving us 50K for the next 3 years. So with that, we are trying to figure out how do we quickly start generating lots of revenues on our own so that we can go and eventually make profit. And then we will be lucrative for investors, people will come and invest. So that's a cycle.
Currently the kit is free for you.
No, the kit has to be purchased from, so typically the way it works is Cognizant, you saw, right, that CEO, their team, they purchase the kits from us. So we manufacture it for a certain price and we sell it for a certain price. So that's the profit that we have. So the profit we make from that.
It's not related to your.
No, talk into the mic so that people also, It's not working? Yeah.
Okay, so this question is not related to your topic, but it's related to me. I am a data science student of BTech first year. So how can I excel in other streams as well? Not only data science, but when it comes to AI, machine learning, blockchain, and other things. And not only in tech, when it comes to social skills like reading, writing, communication, psychological, and many other things.
Okay.
There are so many aspects involved in your character.
Okay.
So how can one excel in all those things in 4 years of time?
Now, learning can't be restricted to just 4 years. You and I know. I mean, we continue, as long as we continue to learn till the last day of our lives, right? We are in a good place. And then don't rely on anybody to come and teach.
Okay.
I mean, that's been my way of learning. Initially, I used to be very reliant on teachers, on books, stuff like that. I mean, I told you, right, I graduated before you guys were even born. So at that time, no YouTube, black and white textbooks with, I mean, there would be a picture there of some diagram or some architecture or something. You will not be able to know what it is because it's all murky. Then as YouTube came, you guys are really gifted in the sense that you don't have a dearth for information. There is a lot of self-learning that you can do on your own, be it Udemy, be it YouTube, be it a lot of other places. Internships. Do you guys know what internships are? Yes? So very good questions he's asking, and one of those things involves internships. If you have to learn on the job, I mean, you might get, after a certain time, you might get bored of learning on YouTube, practicing on your own. But if you go work as an intern at some company or a startup, you kind of think will help you. There you will learn probably 10 times more than what you learn on YouTube. So great questions. First of all, learn on your own. Don't wait for anybody to come and teach you. Then go after internships. In 4 years' time, if you are able to do 6-month, 3-month internships, at least 2, 3, 4, there is no limit. Who's counting, right? The more number of internships that you can do, the better.
But then we see that also our curriculum is more theory based.
Yeah.
So what to do for that?
See, how long is a typical day in college?
4:30 p.m.
So how many hours in a day?
7.5.
7-8 hours out of 24. So take 10 hours away for other things. You have good amount of time. If you spend it wisely, learn something, become a freelancer, do some projects on your own. If there are internships coming up, go after internships. It's all about how you manage your time. The biggest or the greatest guys who have evolved in IT are the ones who have not relied on college education. I mean, they must have gotten degrees and all that, but eventually they learned a lot on their own. They tried doing things on their own. They tried managing time on their own. So.
Okay, so it's all about priority.
Priority. I mean, I'm saying don't disregard academics. You have to. I mean, the grades would matter. All that would matter. But at the same time, you will have, even if you spend 2 to 3 hours a day. I mean, don't think of every day I have to spend 2 hours. No. On a Saturday or a Sunday when you get a holiday, if you're able to spend 4, 5, 6 hours, amazing. Spend on a skill that you think will help you. First try learning it, then do some freelancing, then see if go on to LinkedIn, find out people, companies that are doing whatever you're doing, ask them, can I come and intern? If they say, we don't have money to pay, still go ahead and work. Go ahead, work, you will learn so many things that a book, a teacher, a lecturer, a YouTube can't teach.
Okay, so one last question.
Yeah.
Can you suggest me any book?
If you ask a social entrepreneur, I will say the book that I showed in the.
I Have a Dream.
But there are. I am a big fan of Steve Jobs, big fan of Musk. So reading their biographies has helped me a lot personally. I mean, not because of they created large companies, but the way they think. In his boredom, in his free time, Steve Jobs went and learnt calligraphy. And at that time in college, he wouldn't have felt that it would have helped him somewhere down the lane. But eventually, when he was competing with Windows, when Apple was competing with Windows on the operating system level, he used those calligraphy skills, worked with the designer and said, let's bring out a beautiful font. And that kind of helped Apple score more points than Windows with the users. So nothing is irrelevant. I mean, if you find some interest, some passion in some skill, go after it. Do it. Pick it up. So for books, I would say, if you are a tech savvy kind of a thing, biographies of these people would be good. Yeah.
One more question. When it comes to socialization, actually we see that sometimes our friends are not like us. For example, if I am thinking something else, my friends will not support me. You will not have social support and you have to spend time alone. And usually your parents, friends and family will not support you. So what can we do to that? Because then you have to stay alone and then they will actually start trying to get us back from that. They will try to distract us.
See, it's all about, I would say, so we talked about employment, we talked about entrepreneur, we talked about social entrepreneur. 3 of these options that are open for us are all based on passion. Your interest and then passion. If you are passionate, nobody can stop you. If you're not passionate, if you're kind of saying, my parents are saying this, so that's why I'm doing it. My friends are saying that's why I'm doing it. That's a totally different ballgame. So whatever you do, if you're passionate enough, nobody can distract you. Nobody can stop you. Think of it that way.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. 3 rounds of applause for this guy. Very good. Anybody else? I mean, you don't have to come here if you want to. If you're comfortable, you can come here. Yeah.
Sir, as we all know, rumors are going on, AI is going to replace the engineers. So, what would you say to not be replaced by AI and all? And we are seeing the layoffs by the huge companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and all. What would you suggest us?
Um, See, we have seen technology evolve in the sense, if you have to send an email or a WhatsApp right now to some of your friends, what would you do? Pick up the phone, open
the app.
WhatsApp, and then send
Send it.
hello. In those days, there would be a computer at home, there would be a floppy drive. Anybody here knows floppy drives? Good. So it used to be that old way of transferring data from one place to another. So we used to type that hello thing on floppy drive, go to an internet browsing center, put that floppy drive into that computer, and from there we would send an email to our friends, families, whoever were in the US. From there to here, technology has changed so much, right? Every time there is a technology change, people say jobs will be lost. People will say things will dramatically change and all that. AI is not a new thing. It was 20, 25 years ago, data mining, data warehouse, different ways in which it was being used. Now, I would not say it will take away jobs. I would say if, what did you say your name is?
Rakib.
Rakim. If Rakim ends up being a coder in, say, Infosys.
Okay.
Now, if he takes typically, if Rakim has to write a program, he takes 2 days to write. Now, AI can generate that in minutes. But if there is a debugging thing, if the thing doesn't work the way it should, who will do that? Rakim has to do. So there has to be somebody, even if the productivity levels are high with AI, there still has to be somebody to kind of go see whether it is doing it well, if there are problems, troubleshoot it, all that. So the jobs that are now say 1,000, later on maybe it might be reduced to some 700, 500, 300. Definitely they are not going to go away. So it is in our best interest to learn what we are supposed to learn as part of academics, and also see how we can make best use of AI. So learn AI skills, learn what is RAG, what is everything else, machine learning, deep learning, all that. You should be aware of how to use it, at least if you're not going to graduate in that. At least know how to use it, make that your friend, and then go around.
I would also know about the layoffs which is happening right now. Why the reason I want to know?
It happens from time to time. During Corona, there was the hiring went through the roof. They hired people, so many of those people. Now at some point in time, they have to kind of say, okay, we don't need all those jobs. So this is a cyclic thing. You don't have to worry about layoffs and all. It happens. There are layoffs, then there are hirings. Then there are layoffs, then there are hirings. So it is a cyclic thing in nature. Nothing to be really worried about.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Another round. No easy questions, no hard questions, no silly questions. Nothing is silly, nothing is bad. Anybody, anything. Got 2 from this row. 1 or 2 from here. Then we can close. You can stand there and ask. You don't have to come here and ask. How are we doing on time, sir? We're all right. Do we have time? Okay. anything around innovations, anything about how to think of a problem and how to solve it. I'll tell you, while you rephrase or get your questions in place, no? In your mind, I'll tell you the best way to go about starting a startup. Okay? Will that be okay? Okay. So, long time ago, if you were to hail a cab, if you were to call a cab, you had to call literally from a landline, you had to call somebody and say, hey, I have to go from Matrushri to, say, Gachibowli. Depending on, there would be only one line, telephone line. So depending on whether that guy is busy or in a good mood, things like that, you will be able to place that order. And then after waiting for some time, or mostly for 2 hours, 3 hours, then the cab will arrive. You will get into that cab. Depending again on the cab driver's mood, you will know whether you will reach Gachibowli or you will reach Nalgonda, right? Then the problem of you kind of pick up 100 rupee note, the bill would be like 18 rupees 75 paise. Now that guy will not have change. So many problems just to go from Matrushri, Saidabad to Gachibowli. Now, at that time, if you had asked a bunch of users who had used that cab on a rating of 0 to 10, how much would you rate? Since there was no minus concept in ratings, they would have said 1, 2 max. Then, when Ola came or an Uber came, now how is it? There is no human intervention, so you don't have to depend on anybody's mood. You just open, book a cab. The cab arrives in a certain number of time. It tells you by when it will come. You'll get into it, and then you'll reach your place. You don't even have to look for change. It is all online. So that service and this service. So this service, if you ask somebody, even if they don't give 10, they will say 7, 8. Right? So why am I telling two different services? The old one and the new one, which is Ola, Uber, is if your startup or if your product is able to improve the customer satisfaction rating by at least 4 points. The old service was 3, now is like 8, so it's 5. The rating points are difference of 5. So if your solution, if your startup, or if your product is able to improve the overall customer rating by about 4 or 5, then I think you have a good chance with your startup. If you again say, no, I will develop something like that old taxi model, right, where I will have the taxi on the phone and all that, no takers, because again, poor service and all that. That, if you think you have an idea, if you say, I have an idea now, I want to know whether it is better than the previous one, this is one criteria that you can use and say, how will the user be able to rate my current service versus how it is there with the current service. Yeah? Make sense? All right, now, so questions? Anybody? Either the session was very, very clear, or I will not fill the or. Okay, let me ask you, how many of you are looking forward to the campus placements? You don't have to feel shy, right? I mean, you can raise your hands fully. So most of you, okay? How many of you want to be entrepreneurs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, awesome. Good. So again, a word of caution, not because it sounds cool, not because somebody else is doing, I will also do, not because Shark Tank, it looks cool on Shark Tank. We don't want to become entrepreneurs. look at that. Are you passionate about the whole thing, right? Salary you will not get, right? Then you will have your parents, friends kind of taunting you, saying, hey, what are you doing in life? 2 years, 3 years, nothing happened, your startup is not going anywhere. Then you will not have enough sleep at night. So a lot of things with entrepreneurship, but at the same time, it brings a lot of gratification, right? I mean, if you do well, if you are successful. Okay, by the way, do you know how many startups fail out of 100, every 100? Any wild guesses? No, I can't hear you. 95, awesome. So keep that in mind, right? When you next time want to say you want to become an entrepreneur, it's not to discourage you, but it is also the reality, right? Just having a passion to do something just because it is a cool thing to do, don't go for it. But otherwise, yeah, there are many problems to solve, and I'm sure there are many bright minds here who will say, despite all the hard work involved, I'll become an entrepreneur. Good luck to you. And unless there are questions, I'm ready to close. We'll give another 5 seconds to see if there is a raise of hands for any questions, or else we can close. Oh yeah, good. One second. Take the mic.
Why don't you suggest few freelancing platforms?
There are somebody said Fiverr, right? There is Fiverr, there is freelancer.com. There are many such tools, many such platforms. You just have to register and be at it. I mean, today if you are interested, you go register, and then you don't do anything there. Your rating kind of goes down, and then there will be a lot of jobs that will be coming in for freelancing, but your profile will still be down because you're not doing anything. So if you register, make sure you're active, you log in, you answer certain questions. Your profile should be active. Take small jobs first, continue doing it for a period of time, your rating will go up. And obviously when there are people see that you are a 4.5 star rater or a 5-star rater, they'll give you more jobs. Cool. One last at the end. Who said backbenchers don't have questions?
Hello, sir. My name is Prajwal.
Prajwal.
So I wanted to ask, like, we most of the people don't get help, sir. So
Don't get?
They good. Okay. Most of the people in our country, not even in the country, in the whole India, most of the people want help, sir. Like, they'll be searching, like, who someone will be there to help or not. But I've seen, even there are so many apps that just you say that, and they will come and help you, whatever you have said for. But there are poor people, so many poor people, and so many people who don't know how to ask help for in this area where technology is more used.
So are you saying, when you say poor people, are you saying people who don't have access to food or living on the streets?
Yes, sir.
Like that?
I mean, I've seen so many people, like, I want to help them, seeing the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't find the purpose, like what to do. Like, I can go and help them, but I want to help them in a different way.
Great question, Prajwal. I'm very happy that at a very young age you're thinking and talking about social problems. There is, again, that was something that we also tried doing. 2 of my kids, they started this app called Donate Tags. What it does is, do you know what NFC is? Anybody NFC? Near field communication. So you can, if the tag is somewhere and then your phone is here, just when you pass by it, you will know where the tag is, kind of a thing. So what we said was, can we give these tags to poor people. They can keep it in their pockets. And then people who want to donate, like you and me, Prajwal, if you want to donate, we will open our app and see where these poor people are. And then we can either donate the excess food that we have with us, or if the tags are given to a charity homes, or the charity homes can use an app also, they can say we are 50 old people in our charity. We have a need for say 20 rice bags, say sugar and all that. They can put in their requirements. And if you open, as a donor, if you open the app, you will know, hey, somebody in Saidabad, a charity in Saidabad wants this. You can go and donate. So very, very good question. Good that you are thinking on those lines. We are working on something similar, something very close. But again, it is a charitable thing that we are building, so it is taking time. But hopefully, check out donatetags.org, and if you want to associate with it, we'll see how you can participate in that.
So,
Good question. Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Good day, sir. My name is Hema, and I have a question for you. How do you identify opportunities and new trends coming up? I mean to say, like, people do have the talent, the right talent, but they don't get into the right place. Could you give us a guide to fit into the right place?
Right. So it is a very personal thing, Hema. I mean, we can't have a general criteria kind of a thing. But what really eventually matters is, what are you passionate about? If somebody is passionate about something, again, you will not be able to find that out in a day, in 2 days, in 3 days, in 5 days. Doesn't happen. You first have to find out what opportunities exist. I'll give you a very vague example. That I came to know about IIT JEE, the JEE examination as an entrance, in my second year during my improvement exams. I mean, that is way, way too late, right? So I did not know there was an opportunity. I did not prepare it. Not that I would have cracked it, but I'm saying lack of awareness itself is a big hindrance for us. So first figure out what all opportunities are there. It will come through talking to people, if you are restricted to a certain group, I think Kushal, right? Kunal kind of said a certain set of friends talk about only certain number of things, a certain set of things. If you are opening your horizon, if you are looking at others, people, you talk to industry people. If you are interested in IT, talk to people in IT. If you're interested in academics, talk to people in academics. Go visit their jobs. I have heard a teenager who is in the next year she would be pursuing her MBBS in US. This is, but this year she has interned with 4 different doctors in her 12th class itself, so that she gets a feel as to whether cardiology would be good for her, or skin, or something else. I mean, imagine being at the doctor's office, able to find out what will be life the next 30 years, 40 years. If you are able to decide at that point by actually getting practical advice, practical knowledge, that is something that you would want. So look for those. I mean, what are you really passionate about? Where are the opportunities all around you? And then slowly figure out. If your passion is driving your profession, you are in a great space. Social entrepreneurship is my passion. From that particular example, I am able to say that if you are passionate, you can sleep well at night.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah.
Sir, I would like to club few questions. For example, that guy asked about freelancing, and the guy behind asked about donations. And then she, what did she ask? sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, she asked about opportunities. So why is it always that we are trying to materialize things? We are not able to see the inner fulfillment we are looking for. For example, the reason he asked about freelancing is that he wants to earn 20,000 rupees every month to just fulfill his hobbies, maybe his materialized needs. And when it comes to donations, people are ready to donate crores of rupees to temples, but people do not donate to certain organizations. And there are a lot of things that people don't talk about. And when it comes to those problems, we try to find a solution to that. We start executing on that, but people fail in the middle. So we call it the middle marathon. So how can we continue to that?
Again, Kunal, we can't change the world, right? We can't change everybody's views, everybody's attitudes. I mean, you're trying to judge that person basically by saying maybe he's trying to earn it for money. Probably he's trying to do it for experience. Probably he's trying to look for opportunities, what exists, kind of a thing. Not necessarily for money. But if you only see the positive side of things in the world, I mean, it's a very hard thing to do. Forget about all the negativity that exists around. Pick up a problem and solve it. That will give you that gratification. That will make you run that long distance marathon racer. That will give you gratification, things like that. And this comes from personal experience. Sometimes I think, would I be better off in my IT profession, living in the US? I stayed in the US for about 5 years. Should I have continued there, things like that? But this social entrepreneurship kind of gives me that gratification what any other material thing would probably give. So it is, don't worry about the world, I would say. If you are passionate about something, if you truly believe in the purpose, there will be people judging you, there will be people pulling you down. And you termed it very well, the middle marathoner. Don't be that. Go for it. Be the marathon guy, long distance runner. Go achieve your targets.
So you are a co-author of 17 books as far as I remember. So what should we focus on while writing a book? Because currently I am writing a book called Let's Know a JE Aspirant Better. So what's the main core of the book? Should we focus on delivery or should we focus on the content or reframing or what it should be?
See, I did not want to be an author. I am an IT guy. But the reason I started writing those books was to benefit the society. And in that, some guidelines we kind of looked at. Delivery was one. We said, should we make it all electronic? And then we said, okay, we are targeting tribal areas. We are targeting remote areas. They don't have phones. They don't have, not every child has a phone. So delivery was one criteria. We said printed books. That's one. Next was, who will use this? Will there be private school students? Will there be government school students? Who will be reading it? If we use some very high lingo, very sophisticated words, only probably private school students might understand. So we said we will use something in between. Very simple language. Even for difficult languages, we'll put a glossary kind of a thing. So it might vary from book to book. Mine was more catered to school students, keeping them in mind. So probably you also should try looking at that way. You can't say, I want everybody to read this. You will have a persona, a book reader's persona. You'll say, okay, this is the ideal person who would be reading this. Based on that, you can figure everything out.
Thank you, sir.
There's one.
Sir, how I can make an app, like I am a data science student, only with data science can I make an app or I should study more over it?
See, app is a way to deliver, right? I mean, you're trying to deliver it to on a mobile device. But what goes behind the scenes, right? That is where data science comes in play. So learn the core of data science, learn how these things actually work, pick up a use case. I mean, a use case means, you understand what a use case is? Pick up a problem, pick up a area where you want to apply this data science. Try getting data for it. apply your algorithms, all that, and then finally the output can be an app.
Okay, thank you, sir.
1%. Thoughts?
Sir, could you please like walk us through how to get an idea to like a product stage?
Mm.
Like,
So-
there's a lot of things that actually we don't know about it.
Right. So ideas we all get from time to time. Be it just by looking at Swiggy, we'll say, hey, why can't they just tweak this? Looking at Uber, we can say, why can't they tweak this? But from going from an idea to a product, there are multiple stages. I mean, you first have to you should be convinced that this idea solves a real problem. And then figure out how many people. Is it this front row set of people it will going to solve? Or this bunch, the entire hall, the entire city, the entire country? So if the problem is big enough, meaning it affects a lot of people, and then you have a solution for it, then it's a go. Then you can say, chalo, this is something that we can solve, we should solve. And then you start building a prototype. A small, if there are 10 things that you want to build in that solution, you take the most important, 1 or 2, build that. It could be an app, it could be a whatever, a website or whatever. Build that. Identify a few users who are having that problem. And then go there, give it to them. Take feedback. So feedback is the most important thing. If you make something, you get very prejudiced. You think this is the most awesome thing there is. So you should put that prejudice aside and say, okay, give me feedback. You hear that feedback, validate it, meaning say in this sense, does it make any sense and all, and then incorporate that within your solution. Better that solution. We said we had 10, we only developed 2. Keep slowly building more and more use cases, expand your user base, and that's where you finally end up with the product.
Thank you, sir.
Cool. Yeah, there is, excuse me, there's somebody here. There too.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So I'm a data science student.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know what is the actual difference between a data engineer and a data scientist, and what makes exactly the difference? What do they learn in a particular way? Like data engineers do what, and what is the difference between data science?
That technicality, I think you should look at your books. I'm so sorry. I'm not an expert in what curriculum is being taught in the college. I think your professor should be able to help. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. ఇక్కడ ఆ పిల్లర్ దగ్గర. I think we are just running short of time. Another 4 more minutes. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it a better way to start up at fresherman, or we should have learn experience about it?
Good question. I think most of you would have had that question, but there is no right or wrong answer, right? There are successful stories. There are stories of people who have started when they were still in their engineering or dropouts, and then there are people like me who have been starting very late in their careers. And then there is Naika. She's even went into IPO at a very late stage. So there is no right or wrong answer. Again, it only is driven by how big a problem are you solving, how are you solving it, are you passionate about it. More importantly, your name?
Varshini, sir.
Rashmi. Varshini, sorry. So is Varshini going to execute this startup, meaning right from inception stage, right from day 1 to the time you are able to sell it, to the time you are able to make money out of it, is Varshini going to execute it? It all depends on you. So there is no right or wrong answer.
Can we leave placements for that, sir?
I'm sorry?
Can we leave college placements to start a startup? It's a better way,
See, I don't know if anybody can guide you to start a startup. I mean, if you have already startup in your mind about the idea that she talked about. If you have an idea, there is a bigger problem that is there that the idea can solve. If you have all those things in your mind done, there are many incubators, meaning there are teams who are waiting to evaluate if, say, from this room, there are about 25 people who want to start up as student startups. There are good organizations within colleges and outside also who will say, okay, let me evaluate all these 25, 10 I will take, and then I will groom them. Groom as in what technology to be used, or if you already know what technology, how to build it, design it, architect it, hand-holding, and how do you take it to the market, meaning you have to find customers for the product. So all that, there are incubators. They're called incubators. So if you have a startup in mind, you can reach out to these incubators, and they will help you through the process.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Cool. ఇక్కడ గురు.
So I wish that your mission is successful and it reaches many more kids. Other than that, my question is, now the competition in pursuing jobs or even while starting a startup is very high, as the market is saturated and so on and so forth. So because of this, the pressure is catching up to many minds, and we can see the reflections of it in parts of society. So as you who has been in this field for
You're basically calling me old. Okay, go.
I mean, it's a fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as you have been in this field for quite some time, I need you to give us all advice on how to deal with it and how not to lose our communication and social building skills. And
See, you said it yourself. I mean, but again, to the fact that during our times, there was something called employment news, right? It used to be a paper. It would come every week with opportunities for employment. Imagine all the unemployed youth buying employment newspaper that comes every Friday or Thursday, I don't remember, and then applying for jobs through a handwritten application, putting it in an envelope, sending it to somewhere, we don't know whether that will reach or not, then expect an answer back. The point I'm trying to make is every generation has certain challenges. We had those challenges where we did not know what opportunities exist in employment. Here also it feels as if there are lack of employment opportunities, but it is totally up to you how do you figure that out, right? If you take that example of the best ones survive, right? My suggestion to all of you in this room is, by the end of the 4-year period, you should have a real awesome resume that you can show to your campus placement person. The guys coming into the companies coming in, they should see a Kunal, you said, or a Varshini, or anybody that resume should really stand out. How do you do that? It's totally in your hands, right? It might appear that it is a huge problem, employment and all that. Only the guys who stand out will make it. So you better stand out. There is no choice. Yeah, cool. E2, last two, yeah.
Hello sir, I'm Kriti, and I would like to ask, like, what are the skills that a good engineer need?
There are about 15 odd things, 15 odd skills. Personally, I will rate communication skills. Communication skills doesn't necessarily mean good vocabulary, good English, Telugu, Hindi, doesn't matter. If you are able to tell the person opposite you what you think, what you feel about a certain problem or whatever it is, and then are able to understand what he or she is saying, that is what I'm saying communication skills. Second is empathy, right? We all think it is easy to feel empathized, but it is not at all easy. The best guys who can empathize are probably 60-70% right. So technical skills comes way lower the order, but I'm not saying it is not important. It is absolutely important. But if you were to rank it, I would say your soft skills comes first, and then your technical skills. Yeah.
And as a CSE student, like, do I need to be in touch with other like branches and all, like cybersecurity or data science? Is it like necessary for me to become a good engineer or something like
See,
that?
the example I mentioned about Steve Jobs learning calligraphy.
Yeah.
I think he was a marketing student or something, but no real connection to calligraphy. He still learned it. I mean, why not? When it comes to learning, what was that movie? Amir Khan's movie, where he would go into different classes, not his class. He would go into.
Yeah. Okay, 3 Idiots.
Which one?
3 Idiots.
3 Idiots. So he would go into a different classroom, sit there, study. I mean, if you develop that habit of learning, I mean, anything new, if it excites you, I think you will be a good learner. It will hold you in good stead all through your life.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Last question. Absolutely short of time.
Also there. Actually, this is live in live streaming. So one student has a question in that.
Okay.
Madam, you can. Sir is there.
Yeah, go ahead with the question, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes.
Sir, the question is, sir has worked with the different companies for 14 years. How did he prepare his resume? And what was his experience about interviews? Okay, so.
That's the question? Okay.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Radhika Rathi. I am from IT branch.
Okay.
My question is, you have worked for 14 years in different companies. So can you give me what was your experience? And how did you prepare your resume about it?
Sure. Yeah, I got the question. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So the previous question, for all the English that I said, you talked about what skills do you pick up, right? If the learning is a T-shape, meaning the horizontal bar is for everything that you want to get an idea about, and the vertical line is about your specialization. You said cybersecurity is your specialization? CSE. So whatever subjects in CSE are your specialization, go deep into it. You have to be an expert in that. But that horizontal bar in the T shape, that horizontal bar shouldn't stop at certain things. Anything, learn about any topic. If somebody asks you about cybersecurity, you should be able to answer at least level 1, level 2, level 3 kind of questions. If there are 100 questions, you may not answer all 100, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you should be able to answer. Same with other things as well. Yeah, back to resumes. It's been 11 years since I last updated my resume. So I may not be the greatest to advise on resume making and all that, but again, I would say resumes are sadly, they are the first things that anybody sees, right? A recruiter, a recruiting manager, or whoever. And if you say watching YouTube channels is my hobby, creating or whatever is your hobby and all that, sadly that doesn't hold water. You should be able to say, hey, I have a T-shaped learning, meaning I know a wide variety of topics and I am a specialist in one, right? And that area is, say, cybersecurity or whatever. I'm specialized in that. I have interned at NextSkills 360. I'm just saying. I'm interned at any company, any startup. Did you know, how many of you know T-Hub exists in Hyderabad? Right? So many of you know, right? In T-Hub, there are about 700 plus startups registered. And most of them need some intern or the other from time to time. Now, what is your want? You want to learn. what is their want? They want some people to come in and help them with, say, testing, say, coding, or this or that. So if you are able to reach out to organizations, intern there 2, 3, 4 times, your resume will start looking solid, right? And that's what recruiters would kind of look for. Cool.
Sir, one more hall. Students have a question.
What is your want? You want to learn. What is their want? They want some people.
Madam, Srilata madam, sir is there.
Vishnu.
మాట్లాడండి స్టూడెంట్ ఇవ్వండి సార్ ఇస్ దేర్
స్టూడెంట్ కి ఇస్తున్నా ఇవ్వనా
ఇది ఒకటే
Sir.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
అక్కడ రీసన్
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Hello, sir. I have a question. Sir, you have started a program which actually helps those government kids to learn.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Go on.
Madam, not audible. Hello.
Sir.
Hello. Voice going network issue. Madam. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm from CSE, and the question was about starting and being an entrepreneur. You start something from scratch, like it's all on you. You make people believe on your ideas, and you believe on your idea. And sometimes it doesn't work, and maybe, of course, you might have faced problems too. So, as you mentioned, the COVID time. So, was there a constant urge to give up, facing the disappointments? And or maybe not even a constant, a sometime urge ki maybe going back to comfort of a job, a point where was it easy to give up on comforts and come here, and how did you not give up and to get it to this stage where it's successful?
Okay, thank you. For startups, if they have to fail, they have to fail fast. Meaning, there is a concept called walking dead. Meaning, a startup can't grow any further, but they are just surviving somehow. That's a sad state, bad state to be in. As I previously also pointed out, if you are creating something, you become very attached to it. You think you go against the world and say, hey, this is great, this has to work. So after a certain point in time, if it has to be killed, it has to be. So that has to happen. So for us, we were on the verge of giving up. I even arranged for interviews for my team because they relied on my idea. They spend their time in our company. So I said, I just can't say, go find your own jobs. I said, okay, I will get you jobs in good companies. We went through interview rounds, and that's when MIT happened. So at that point in time, if that had not happened, probably we would have stopped at that stage and then moved on. So I would say if the startup is destined to die, it is better to die at a certain stage. There is no point. I mean, it is okay to fail. I mean, it's not like we are all perfect human beings, perfect entrepreneurs, perfect social entrepreneurs. If something doesn't fail, make it fail fast, move on to the next idea, or move back to whatever you feel like doing. So, yeah, cool. All right, I think we are running way over time. Thank you all for your awesome questions. I see a bunch of excellent minds here. I'm so proud that my alma mater is going to produce a bunch of youngsters like you who might become entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, employees, great managers. So all the very best. Let's stay connected, and please reach out. I mean, if the questions are coming, the more that I can help, the more I can, right? All the best then. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a fantabulous session, and we started our induction program with such interactive and connective program. Sir being alumni and you being students, I think they got well connected. Thank you, sir. So I request my colleague, Dr. B. Uma Maheshwari, to give away vote of thanks.
A very good morning to one and all. I, Dr. Uma Maheshwari, Assistant Professor of Mathematics. Now, it takes my immense pleasure to deliver vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I am very thankful to our management principal, Matrushri Engineering College, to give the permission for organizing such induction programs for the new coming students. I would like to express my gratitude to today's speaker, Mr. Suraj Mayur sir, for his valuable suggestions in innovation technologies and the new trending areas like artificial intelligence and applications of AIs in our real life. And sir also shared so many ideas to start startups and how to become a successful entrepreneur in your life. I hope all the students will implement the suggestions given by our today's speaker. And sir also cleared so many doubts asked by our students regarding the platforms for freelancing and so many opportunities how to available in the real world and how to crack the opportunities in your life, and so many service foundations for helping the poor people, and especially for the data science students how to develop the apps and how to create your own knowledge in the new technologies and everything. Thank you very much, sir. And last but not the least, our students with their patience, they listen so many things, and you have shows the interest to ask the questions to the today's speaker, and I hope the same interest you have to show in the remaining 4 years of your engineering, and all the best for your students. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Now I request Chandana madam to felicitate the sir with a small kit.
So this is token of thanks. Just thank you so much. It was very informative. We could not, I think, complete it, but I feel like I was missing a lot. Thank you so much.
Now I request Dr. Aparna madam a small token of appreciation to our today's speaker. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much from our college. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
4 of us. Vishnu.
చంద్రశేఖర్ సార్ వెళ్ళిపోయారా?
She's from mathematics. He's from
It was wonderful. I joined it, but I really enjoyed it. Wonderful. Direct after remote after
Yeah, it's a break, but at your own pace. If anyone wants to use washroom, you have it. వినిపిస్తుంది అది అంత పెద్ద గొప్పగా ఏం లేదు Be back immediately. You have only 5 minutes time.